Oh, that's weird. Trying to get the stream going. Okay, here we go. So we have a Buckhouse World Championship match in the Challenger section. This is the first game of the match. Sorry, we didn't get to see the beginning of it. I was a bit slow getting started. But our score right now is 0-0. So we have stanky0legg and bigmilkyrudders versus neatgreatfire and candidate master practical play. Practical play is the one attacking here. neatgreatfire. Oh, that is a scary rook move. But neatgreatfire is attacking. You could just play knight check to deflect this knight, then you have queen takes rook. Possibility. Okay, he just takes the knight. But now knight plus rook is very good, or queen plus knight. neatgreatfire is still attacking. Pawn would win the queen. Queen in the corner could prevent the king from moving. Actually, queen in the corner, then bishop takes rook is just mate. No, it's not quite mate because queen takes. Interesting. This king coming out to play. You gotta keep checking if you're stanky0legg. Even just a pawn check. Oh, I don't like this. This is mate for sure. Knight check. Actually, queen at e8, and then knight check maybe. Okay, practical play gets mate. That's lucky for him because neatgreatfire was really on the ropes there. He let go of check in a position where his opponent had a lot of pieces that could mate him. So our score is 1-0 favoring neatgreatfire practical play. neatgreatfire has sacked. So queen would mate. Queen very unlikely this early in the game. Gonna try to get some development. Sacrifices a pawn to get his bishop active. Gotta watch out for that e2 square. Maybe rook over or knight out. I like knight out a little better. I hate this move. Does nothing really. stanky0legg is attacking. Pawn is good for stanky0legg. So he could take the bishop. There are places this knight can move. You might just want to drop a pawn to tempo stuff. Practical play. His position seems pretty safe, but he doesn't have much development. Not much development from either player, really. Ooh, knight takes knight. Very good for stanky0legg. That knight trade could let him get the queen in. I would put a pawn on e2 while you have the chance. Tempo that queen. Don't like this as much. Maybe his idea is knight at e1. Go after the queen. But I think he had better there. I don't like knight at f4. It cuts off the queen when you want that queen to be attacking. But it does defend some squares, so maybe not terrible. I assume we're taking this queen every day of the week. Because then even take the bishop, you can take back. Practical play is attacking now. And he actually has quite a good attack. Okay, a few pawns, mate. Rook is good also. Knight mates immediately. which is why he didn't play knight takes queen. Oh, it is neatgreatfire's turn to attack. I think queen takes pawn, then trade in the queens could have been good. Queen wasn't going to hurt his partner. His partner was attacking, the pawn would have helped. So I liked queen takes pawn before. neatgreatfire looks like he's trying to defend, stay safe. I think he ought to be attacking here. Practical play gets mate. Thank you for the follow from KS Pony of Fate. Hope you're doing well. For those who may not know, we are observing, commentating a Bughouse match. Bughouse is a chess variant played by 4 players in teams of 2. Whenever you capture a piece, you hand it to your partner. And you can make a normal chess move or take any of the pieces in reserve that your partner has handed you. Place one on any empty square as a move. And checkmate or flag on either board ends the game. Play on chess.com. F7 is a weakness here for bigmilkyrudders. So he could just place another pawn there. Or he could get his king's bishop out somewhere. Practical play probably wants a pawn to drop for a check, followed by knight check, one of these places. He could use the bishop check, knight check, and wait for pieces. He is up 1 second. I think it's probably worth waiting for the pawn rather than giving up a bishop. Another possibility, by the way, is getting your queen in somewhere, even knight out. Practical play just has a good position in general, but he wants to keep his advantage. neatgreatfire needs to play a bit faster. Now they're down 3 seconds. Practical play just brings his knight out. Probably going to sack the knight, if I had to guess, which may not be good without trades to help him out. neatgreatfire trying to cause some trades. There's a bishop for his partner. stanky0legg on the attack. I like this bishop drop. Someone has matched me to 10-minute game. Let's go over here. We're going to block that person. And then we are going to go here, decline the match request. Die in a fire. At this point in my stream, I always have to point out chess.com is 30 years behind the rest of the internet. So the free internet chess server, ICC, many other chess servers had the ability to filter match requests by game type 30 years ago. But chess.com still doesn't have that functionality. So I have to deal with trolls who disrupt my stream by matching me at a game I've never played and never will play. Okay, back to the game. I'm going to save this rook. You could drop a pawn here, tempoing a little bit. If the rook moves away, you can promote one of these pawns. So I think instead of putting the rook here, it should have gone to e8 initially. Wouldn't have lost the tempo. Practical play, maybe take a free pawn. Okay, he wants to get this knight out of here maybe, so he gets the dark squares. I guess he wants to put something on e7. He does have to watch out now, as his king is in a slight amount of trouble. He could just drop a bishop on h3 to defend, or he could attack. Whoa, neatgreatfire sacked a queen. Why did he sack that? That's a really strange life decision. Okay. Looks like he's kind of going all in on the attack here. Pawn check is a threat. Bishop in is a threat. Trying to get a queen. Ooh, he shouldn't have taken that queen. New queen in while he had the pin. Then the queen would have been free. He still would have had the bishop. So that's a clear mistake. While his partner sacks for a rook, the rook mates. So I guess it worked out for his team. That was a lot of material they sacked. Our score is 3-0, favor neatgreatfire, practical play. We're probably going to see some sacks. Queen comes out, defends and attacks. Knight is good. He's just going to try to win the knight, but this is a great knight move. Tempo the queen, make it move away from this file so that you can save your knight. Really like this knight play. That's a free queen. Knight check, take queen. Practical play, he could bring the knight back. Maybe he's waiting for a new knight to come in. stanky0legg is attacking. Leaving a vacancy to put a pawn there. He has to be careful not to get mated though. neatgreatfire can start coming in. He's down time though. bigmilkyrudders ought to stall, meaning not move, because he doesn't want neatgreatfire to get more material. Pawn check, king takes, you have knight check, win queen. But still, you're just worried about your king safety if you're stanky0legg. Yeah, and now his king is a lot safer. You probably, well, first you save your queen, but eventually you want to get your bishop developed. Oh wow, okay. No, well, that's not quite free right now. I think you sack your queen for this. You're going to lose it anyway. You might as well undevelop the knight. Get a rook for it. This king looking pretty barren. You have rook over or pawn up to grab control of some of these squares. If he had a bishop, bishop check would be good. Attack and defend at the same time. But stanky0legg, he can't sit like this. He's gotta get some safety. Okay, for me, I would probably play pawn up. Knight in. So sometimes when you're trying to defend, one thing you can keep in mind is you take a piece and you drop it where it attacks one of your weak squares, which often is the square that your king is on right now. So this knight, I like this knight move, dual purpose, threatens a check, defends some key squares. This is a good find by stanky0legg. Gets that bishop out, and the bishop defends the knight. Maybe just rook over here. Or you can push a pawn. He takes a pawn. Is that pawn really good for his partner? I think that was a waste of a tempo. His bishop up, or can move the knight right back. Okay, gives his king some more escape squares. The rook guards some squares. That's a free knight. Take those. No questions asked. Yeah, the open section, they move a lot faster. Here we get to see what's happening on both boards. Probably just knight out, guard the pawn, unite the rooks. But pawn at g2, also an idea. Threaten promotion. Okay, he's going after this. That's fine. Probably drop another pawn in. I would take with check first, so you could take the rook later. Unless your partner needed that immediately. Pawn check. Knight. Okay, well first we take this. Okay, he takes a free pawn. That lets his opponent get in and make this threat. Ooh, this is giving neatgreatfire too much attack, in my opinion. I wouldn't have taken that either. I would have started checking when he fails to check you. Promote. This helps guard too. Take this pawn. Okay, takes a free piece. Queen up, knight in is mate. Okay, that's mate in one. Nice mate by stanky0legg. Our score is now 3-1, favoring neatgreatfire and practical play. Okay, we got some early trades and development. How to get this king's bishop out. That's always your goal in the opening, so that early sacks don't work. And speaking of early sacks, a pawn, actually there's mate already. Queen up is mate. You don't need to wait for a pawn. You can make a chess move. If he finds queen up, queen takes pawn, that's mate. CM, titled player, we expect him to find those chess moves. Our score is 4-1. Practical play sacks a knight for a pawn, but it helps him get some development. Maybe, oh, and bigmilkyrudders sacks it right back. There's a lot of people who sack this knight for a pawn. I don't like it personally. I'm a pawn grabber myself, but there's a lot of strong players who play it. If I'm neatgreatfire, okay, well first we defend our queen. Oh, whoa, he's giving the queen, okay. Okay, the knight guards this square. I think stanky0legg doing a good job defending. You could sack the bishop, but this square is not free for a knight check right now. A bishop would be good to pick up the knight. He wants to make the knight move. If the knight moves not to this square, the knight check might come. We'll take that. Knight check. And I think you could just take the rook, then drop a pawn at e2 to threaten promotion. Okay, grab the rook file. So now pieces are great for stanky0legg. You can see a bishop coming in, a knight, rook. Plenty to do. I would just push, and eventually you can sack the rook, grab this diagonal. Practical play, continuing to make stuff happen, tempoing the queen. The queen moves away, you can tempo it some more. Okay, that's a free rook. Probably take the free rook. This knight comes in, making threats. He doesn't want the free rook. He's going after the queen. Rook takes, yeah. A little bit scary. Oh, practical play gets mate. Draws the queen out to where it no longer defends the back rank. Our score is 5-1, favoring practical play and neatgreatfire. So in the challenger section, which is under 2000, the time control is 3 minutes, whereas in the open section, time control is 2 minutes. In the challenger section, it is first to 11. So we might be about halfway through the match here. Yeah, see you later, Chaos Pony. Thanks for dropping in. Oh, this king coming out to play. If I'm practical play, I play something like d4, discard the knight. Another possibility is like knight h3, knight f3. I don't like that as much because you want to leave this diagonal open for your queen. He finds the move. Now pawn check is very, very good. This works too. Yep. In fact, that works even better because it's forced mate rather than a trade that probably leads to mate. Nice find from practical play. Practical play again sacks the knight for a pawn to get some development. Our score right now is 6-1. Favor neatgreatfire and practical play. Neatgreatfire has sacked a bishop. Queen takes, probably a good thing to do. Not so much anymore. I like this bishop drop. Now, if something lands here, you could strongly consider sacking your queen to weaken the g7 square. Although this knight does guard f5, so you can't just win with a knight drop. So pawn check, draw the king out, maybe you just push the pawn. We take that. Another knight would be good. Or, okay, he just brings it back, that's fine. Pawn is good for stanky0legg if he doesn't want to defend. He can start attacking. He could even push this pawn. I like pawn push, actually. Because the pawn is attacked anyway. And if we take, then we can get in there with some checks. If we don't take, we threaten to tempo him. Well, now that he has the rook at g6, probably a good safety move. This is decent too. Guards a lot of key squares. Making threats. Pawn takes, I think, although that might be scary. You might actually, because then queen in, bishop mate. Well, not quite mate, but it's quite scary. Knight check. Knight check, king up. I guess that's not mate. Maybe you just take the rook and hope for the best. If you take the rook, there's actually a queen sack pawn up option. And like knights are crushing. Oh, he just pushes the pawn right off the bat. I don't think you get away with that. Knight check, king up, queen takes. Oh, but he goes into defensive mode. Pawn takes. Okay. There's... Oh wait, this knight guarded, so I was seeing ghosts. There was not that attack that I thought existed, so I'm sorry about that. A bishop is still good for neatgreatfire. Pawn mates for stanky0legg. stanky0legg could consider just taking the knight. Or taking the pawn. But let's check the time. He's up a massive amount of time, so he's just going to wait for the pawn to mate. Okay, I like that he's not trading the knight, but instead continuing to develop. I hate this pawn move. It creates a lot of dark square weaknesses. He's going to have to deal with those dark square weaknesses all game. Like pawn up, and then you get in on d6. Practical play is attacking. Maybe knight check. And you can bring the queen back. Another knight would be good. Like pawn plus knight is quite good. Like pawn check. If knight takes, you have mate. If queen takes, you have like a knight shenanigans. Okay, now the queen can come back. Another possibility is knight takes pawn, bishop up, or queen up. Then we take the queen. Probably queen over is better. Take the queen. Yeah, I like what practical play is doing here. That queen is attacking a bunch of things. His king is fairly safe. neatgreatfire trades for his partner. I would just take the free material. It also makes threats. That's a free bishop. We take those. Take the free bishop. Well attacking. Instead, he's going to go for the forced mate sequences. Yeah, that's mate. Okay, well that worked out, but I'm always in favor of free material. Our score is 7-2, favoring neatgreatfire and practical play. It is first to 11. 7-2 right now. Here's the sack from neatgreatfire. If stanky0legg knows how to defend, then it's not a very good sack. Very often they don't know how to defend. At this level at least. You gotta try to get this bishop active. Pawn up, although then we can win the queen. Okay. Knight takes. We can take that. That's a free pawn because of the knight threat. He sees it. Whoa, terrible move. That was a free queen. We take free queens. Alright, exploiting the pin over here. Queen sack might come. Or you just take the pawn, come back. Okay, he's putting pressure on the light squares instead. Bring that queen back. Keep up the pressure. Okay, he's threatening queen trade. Now he's threatening the light squares. So practical play has been winning material off milkyrudders. stanky0legg, after failing to take the queen, he's pretty much stayed mostly even on material. We take that for sure. Take the queen. Why didn't we take the queen? Very weird. I think you take with this one. Oh, that one was holding stuff together. Okay, so queen trade has happened. Practical play, definitely in the driver's seat, but his queen is under attack. He's gonna jettison his queen. Oh, that gives this to his opponent, which is maiden. I think you go queen down for sure. Oh, he's gonna tempo the queen a little more first. So knight at d5. I like knight at d5. You're tempoing the queen more. And it puts another knight attacking that e7 square, which is a key square. I think practical play is going to have to lose his queen here. So new knight in check is good. Okay, he gets more pieces on the board, but this lets the bishop come out so the rooks guard the back rank. It does help guard his position a little bit. You could work these things. I would definitely be more aggressive. And you've given practical play an extra move where you're not attacking. If knight comes back here, you have knight takes, so you can stay safe. Knight takes knight is critical. If he doesn't do that, he's probably mated. That's a terrible move. So you're going to have to lose a lot of material and might be mated. Ooh, can't go that way. Now he's mated for sure. Practical player has mate. stanky0legg has mate as well though. But practical play is going to mate first, just because of the time situation. Can't go down, got to go up, but he's going to be mated for sure. But this was a hard throw, because the bigmilkyrudders was absolutely crushing it. And there was like one move where he failed to attack. His attack, he lost initiative, and then he defended imprecisely. Could have defended precisely and been in a commanded lead. So our score 8-2, favoring practical play and neatgreatfire. Queen trade offered. Usually I would drop a pawn at d7 here to at least bring the king out. Another possibility is just bring in the bishop out and trade in on your terms, get in your rook developed. This is terrible though. Helps bigmilkyrudder to get a piece more active. Here, I like this bishop move. You're attacking and defending. Just drop a pawn in here. I'm gonna pick up some material. So this rook probably needs to come somewhere. It's hard to defend because this knight guards the square. You got the rook file. Maybe just develop some stuff. Bishop here also could be quite good to attack the f1 square. Well, not anymore. Maybe pawn in. I like this knight move. Attacking a weak square. Good stuff. Bishop is quite good for neatgreatfire. He's given the queen. I don't like that decision. But I guess it's gonna work out for him. Okay. Look at these dark squares though. This is all as a result of c6. Dark squares are Swiss cheese in neatgreatfire's position. I think knight takes pawn is the move for bigmilkyrudders. Brings that king out. If king takes, you have knight check. If king doesn't take, you have a free rook. And by the way, queen at d1 is currently a threat because of this pin. So bigmilkyrudders firmly in control. Let's take the rook. And probably pick up more material later. stanky0legg has a great position. I would drop a bishop attacking the knight because it also attacks the e7 square. Okay, he puts the knight right in those dark squares. That's fine too. Maybe just knight takes pawn. Okay. Now let's just go after the dark squares. Mate by assumption. King has to go up. He goes back, he's mated immediately. Or no, he can't go up. Yeah, he's just mated. Queen in. Pretty crushing. So stanky0legg has mate. Wow. Practical play somehow has a mate sequence now. Which is kind of crazy because bigmilkyrudders was absolutely crushing it. So when I looked away, somehow he gave up check and walked into mate in a completely fine position. So practical play is going to get the win here, and that's a hard throw by bigmilkyrudders. Because bigmilkyrudders was crushing it. Our score right now is 9-2, favoring neatgreatfire practical play. That last game really should have gone the other way. neatgreatfire sacks again. Now to defend this sack, well, first we take all that. Oh, pawns mate for neatgreatfire. He's not going to get pawns though. I think, okay, he just takes that. Knight takes. We're defending a lot of these key squares. I would just push the pawn. This is okay. It's not great. Maybe knight at f4. Okay. You gotta watch out for bishop check to win the rook. Although the rook could retreat if there's bishop check. Okay, replaces that. Defend the knight. That's reasonable. Let's get these pieces out. Oh, I like this knight move. Attack the queen. Let's push a pawn. And pawn can't really land any of these places because they're all defended a lot more. Probably knight takes. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. This is reasonable too. Bishop takes. stanky0legg again has an absolutely crushing position. But somehow he manages to find ways to, whenever I look at the other board, somehow it all unravels for him. Okay, this rook is under attack. Got it. New knight in would win the queen. But you could just drop a pawn on h7. Okay, rook over. That's a very interesting move. Tempo in the queen. Pawn check probably. King takes. New knight in. Push the pawn. Let's get in there. Knight check, I think. Okay, bishop takes. That's good too. We take that. New bishop in. This is going to be mate real soon. He goes down, knight mates. Going up, even worse for him. Just keep dropping pawns until mate happens. He does need a few trades though. Oh my god. bigmilkyrudders walks into mate. Gotta go up, but even that, he's gonna get mated real soon. Hard throw by bigmilkyrudders. Our score is now 10-2, favoring neatgreatfire practical play. This is match point. Some early trades by neatgreatfire. I don't like those trades because it helps stanky0legg with his development. This knight has to go somewhere. Oh, he's just going to ignore it. Go for this. I would just retreat the knight somewhere. I don't like giving up that knight. I think that's a mistake from bigmilkyrudders. So stanky0legg grabs a free piece. Gonna come back to home. Probably just stick pawns in there. Maybe knight could go after the queen, take this bishop. I think you take the bishop. Knight check, not really a problem. Everything's covered. Okay, he's going to be extra cautious, bring the knight back. Yeah, this is the danger. When you just play a retreat and move, your opponent gets to put more pieces on the board. Like another knight. Oh, another knight should have landed on c3 there to tempo the queen first. Maybe we take that. Oh, I guess not. Practical play, probably wants a pawn. Okay, he's going to try to get in on these light squares. Assume we trade that. Is this a free pawn? Looks like it. Knight can come in. Oh, wow, that's spicy. Knight check. Pawn check. Oh, pawn check first was much better. If he moves over, you can promote before you take that. And if he moves the other way, you get it with check at the cost of a pawn. So initiative much more important than one pawn in this situation. So Big Milky Rudders, a lot of pieces in front of his king. Seems pretty safe. This pawn could be taken. Or no, the knight can't even take back. So that is a free pawn. Why are we not taking that? Take the free pawn, go after the knight and the f pawn. Queen mates for stanky0legg. Never gonna happen. Take that back. Oh, he sacks. Okay, so he coming in. Needs a little bit more to mate here. I guess if his attack ever deteriorates, he can always take this pawn, which I would do right here, right now. Oh, mate for practical play. It's a nice tactic, get in those knights in, exploit in some pins. This other mate, that's going to be match. Big Milky Rudders downtime. Hey, Eric Dolphy. Eric says no blocker. I guess I missed when that was, but I don't doubt you're correct. Alright, let's do final score. 11-2. Favoring. Oh, let's say GG's in the chat. Okay, favoring practical play and neatgreatfire. They had mate because neatfire didn't have a blocker and was behind time. I guess we can go back since we're at the end of the match. I mean, right here. Right here, he has nothing to drop. But it's not quite mate. King over. He would need more for it to be mate. He'd need a knight. Maybe his partner could have taken a knight somewhere. I mean, there's perpetual. They could have gone for a draw, but to mate, he needs like a knight or a rook. I think. Unless I'm missing something. I mean, you're probably right that it was like their best chance. And I guess another possibility is like here, king over. If he has no blockers, you could even like double up the rooks and try to win at chess. But I think he could try to wiggle out then, like pawn up. I don't know. It was definitely a good try. You're right. If they had coordinated well, that was good place for them. I think if it was practical play's move at the time, then he can always just take a pawn because it's his move. If it's not practical play's move, then Big Milky Rudders can stall. Anyway, great match. Thanks to the players for scheduling that, putting it on the calendar. I don't see any other matches today. Let me actually pull up the Google form to see if there's people who haven't reported it yet, or that hasn't made the calendar yet. This is the last one I see. So I think other matches that we'll see probably have to wait till tomorrow. Okay, so it looks like Luke is streaming the 4-player chess championship. Let's give him a raid, send him a few viewers at least. I was thinking of maybe streaming some of these arenas, but it's good to see him streaming this first one. We're going to raid 4-player chess. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We have some more Bughouse World Championship matches coming up Saturday and Sunday. Right now I see 3 scheduled for Saturday, 4 scheduled for Sunday. So that's 7 total. That includes 6 from the open section, 1 from the challenger section. And there's a ton that haven't been played yet in addition to that. So hopefully more will get scheduled. But I will cover as many of those as possible. Sometimes they're double booked, like 2 matches scheduled at the same time. But we're going to try to cover a lot of them. And look forward to seeing you guys there. We're going to send you to 4-player chess. He is streaming the 4-player speed chess championships. So the time control, there's 2 different time controls. One is 1 minute with a 1 second increment, and the other is 30 second with no increment. And I believe this weekend is all 30 second with no increment. So extremely fast play. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Anyway, I hope you all have a great night. Bye guys.